Hello everyone, this is Mr. Fung with the third video for this summer. And you can see I'm here with a bass. This video relates to all the instruments, cello, bass, viola, and violin, because we're going to talk about slurring three notes. Today we'll practice a little bit of our slurring with the scale, last time's Gotel and Rodi, and your new exercises. And I have a new page here, page 31, that's also posted and attached to the email in case you need the music. So let's get started. Actually, let's hang on one second. If you need your instrument tuned, have your folks email me. I am in town. Tuning should only take no more than 5 minutes. We'll meet at the school and I'll get you going if you feel that your instrument's out of tune. So we're going to start our D scale today with slurring two notes in a bow. And last week we mentioned, in the last video, we went from the frog all the way to the tip, playing two different notes. That's what a slur is. It's when we're going to move on one note, say D to E, we will play, we'll go D, E, and change note in the middle of the bow. And same for the up bow. We can go D, E again, D, E, and I think you're going to get a very good visual from this bass because, well, you'll see the actual bow moving right across. And halfway through, I'm going to drop my next note. So we have D, E, and we can do an up bow. E, going to F, for example. Okay, now in this this next segment of the video, we're going to move D, E in one bow. We'll slur two notes there, and then we're going to continue up the scale. F, G, A, B, C, D. When we hit the top note, we have to replay the top note so that it can come out evenly. There are 8 notes going up, and then we'll have 8 notes coming down. That should be 4 bows, 2 notes in each bow. So let's get started. Set the bow on the D string. I'll count you off, something like this. D, E, go straight to F, G, and slurring 2 notes. Ready, go. Replay the D. I'm going to play this one more time. This time I will announce the notes so that if you had trouble with that one just now, you'll be able to jump in again. But even after you've jumped in, try to rewind me back about a minute or minute and a half and replay the scale over again. Ready? Setting on D, D to E. Here we go. D, E, to the next note, F, G, F, G, to the next note or the next string, A, B, last top 2 notes, C, D, and replay the high D, come back down. D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D. Play that a few times, transfer the bow over to the next string so that you can do some G scale with slurring 2 notes. Okay, we're going to review Gotel and Rodi from last week, including the second line. In the second line, violas, violins, and cellos, you will go up to the A string and continue with some higher notes, but because the bass does not have a next higher A string and B sets of notes, you're going to hear the bass jump down to B's low A, B. Don't feel like you're playing something wrong. Just keep going. That's around measure 10. You're going to hear that the bass jumps down many notes. So here's the beginning of Gotel and Rodi, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and those were the half notes and quarter notes. F, F, about the pace we're moving. Ready? Set your finger on the F. Here goes Go Tell Aunt Rhody. This is page 30, number 100. 1, 2, here we go. Slur. Slur. Now we're at number 5. Go lift. Next line, number 9. See these little words, DC al fine. You might say like DC al fine, but fine is the Italian pronunciation of finish. What this means, DC means da capo. We're gonna repeat back to the very beginning to the first measure, and then al fine, which means to the finish. Then we're gonna go from the first measure, measure 1, to the end of measure 8, and at the end of measure 8 you see there's a double bar that says fine. That's where we would finish. So actually, Go Tell Aunt Rhody is a 3-line piece of music. Now moving on, if you had trouble playing Go Tell Aunt Rhody with me just now, rewind it, maybe just sit back and watch. Sit back and listen. Sit back, point on the music and track, and move along with the music so that you know exactly how fast we're moving. Okay, today, in this next week, this new lesson, I have page 31 for you, and if you look over here at 102, slur 3, you see how the rainbow arc goes over 3 notes? We're putting 3 sounds into one bow. So that means we're going to be dividing the bow into 3 parts, into thirds, what we call thirds. Here's our first third, 1/3. Our second third goes up to about here, and then you can see how Mr. Fung kind of split the bow into 3 parts. I don't know if you can see that in the camera view. And then the top third will be right there. So I would actually end up playing, if I wanted to slur D, E, and F together, we would move from the fog, D, to about here, and then change notes, E, and then in the last third, F. What that looks like on bass, I'm going to play D, E, and F. Here we go. My first note, second note, and third note. If you remember, in the second video I mentioned a lot of beginning slurers who try to slur 2 notes, they will play a lot of the first note using the entire bow, almost the entire bow, and leave just very little amount of bow for the next note. But we can't do that. We must save the bow, conserve your bow. Save it so that you have enough for full sound and an equal sound. So all 3 of these notes should have the same amount of length to them. Okay? Looking at 102, slur 3, all we're doing is, if you look at the first measure, we're putting D, E, D in one bow. Let's try that, just the first measure right now. So this is 102, slur 3. If you don't have the music, if you can't find it in your book, it's page 31. If you don't have the book, that's fine. Attached to the email is this page, so you can ask your folks to help you print it out. Here is the first measure only, D, E, D. Go. And what's nice about this 102 is that you're only involving the first finger, so you're just dropping the finger and lifting off the finger whenever you need it. Okay, one more time on the first measure. Pause right there. Now we're at the tip of the bow. You see in measure 2 there's a V symbol, which is an up bow. We're going to go up bow, and if you look at those 3 notes, we have E, F, E, Remember to save bow and leave the first finger down. You don't need to lift off the first finger because you're going to go back to the E anyways after you're done with the F. And then measure 3, F, G, F. You can leave the F down while you go over to the G. And for bass, we are string crossing basses. Cellos, violas, violins, you're still on the same string. So here is measure 3, F, G, F. Go. And measure 4, easy stuff, a long G. Now measure 5, similar to what I mentioned before in Go Tell Aunt Rhody, the violins, violas, cellos have another string going over to the A string, which is a higher sounding string. The bass goes to a lower sounding string, so don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. The bass is going to drop down to this pitch, okay, while many of you are up here. Okay, here is measure 5, going on. Set the bow, dividing the string into 3 parts. 1, 2, go. Measure 6, B, C, B. And remember, you can leave some of these fingers down because you're going to use it again. C, D, C. And then number 9 is backwards. You're climbing down the notes in the sequence. That is it for this week. I'd like for you to try Hickory Dickory Dock as well. It might not sound like Hickory Dickory Dock because a lot of people recognize Hickory Dickory Dock as a very fast song. And that was all 2 lines of 103, but I went really fast. And the secret's going fast. Play it slow, play it many times, get very good at it, and then you'll realize that if you rewind this video and see how much bow I used to slur those 3 notes, I didn't use a lot of bow because my fingers can move faster too. You can even experiment with your D scale if you just want to play do, re, mi, do, re, mi, do, re, mi, just D, E, F, and slur a whole bunch of notes in one bow. You'll get very, very good at slurring. You can go mi, re, do, F, E, D, F, E, D, F, E, D. What's nice about the summertime is that you get to experiment as much as you'd like. If you have any questions, please feel free to have your folks email me, or you can always send me a secure video response if you'd like. We'll talk more about some of these upcoming projects with the videos in the next few weeks and come September. I'll see you with another video in about 2 weeks. Happy practicing, everyone.